Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into your source material to tackle, well, one of the most polarizing topics in pet ownership.
Oh, yeah.
The art, or I guess more often, the inevitable chaos of walking your cat.
It sounds so simple, doesn't it? I mean, a leash, a cat, the great outdoors,
What could go wrong?
everything. The reality is that the vast majority of attempts end in a complete stress spiral. You get a terrified animal, a frustrated owner. It's just not good.
So today, our sources are saying we need to just jettison the idea that this is some casual activity.
We are ditching that myth immediately. The sources treat this as a really specific high-stakes endeavor. We are not just going for a quick walk.
So what's the mission for our learner today? How are we framing this?
The mission is to reframe this as a serious long-term project.
Yeah.
This is a staged behavioral modification program. You absolutely cannot just, clip on a leash and walk out the door.
Why not? I mean, that's what you do with a dog.
Because that sudden sensory overload will induce a profound shock in a cat. It undoes any positive association you're trying to build. So we're breaking it down into the professional four-stage standard operating procedure, the SOP, for any hope of success.
Okay, so that reframes the whole thing. It's not spontaneous, it's a planned multi-week undertaking. If stage 0 is getting your head right, let's jump into stage 1, assessment and essential prep.
Right.
Before we even buy any gear, what is the first most crucial question we have to ask about the cat itself?
It all starts with a pretty brutal personality assessment. I mean, not every cat is wired for this. And the sources are really explicit here. You have to filter out the wrong candidates from the get-go.
So what are the absolute, the non-negotiable no-go signs?
Well, the biggest one is extreme timidity.
Yeah.
If your cat bolts under the couch when a plastic bag rustles.
Or the doorbell rings and they're gone for an hour?
Exactly. For that cat, you must abandon the mission. Forcing an animal that's already predisposed to high anxiety into that environment is, well, it's effectively abusive. The stress is just too high.
Okay, so we're looking for the adventurous outliers. What does an ideal candidate look like then?
You want the cat that already shows strong, innate curiosity. You know the one. The cat that sits on the windowsill for hours, chattering at birds.
Or the one that's always trying to dart out the front door when you come in.
Precisely. They're already signaling that the desire to explore is there. If that desire is absent, you're really fighting a losing battle from the start.
So let's say we have our eager, curious candidate. We still can't just go buy a harness. The sources stress a mandatory medical and safety checklist.
This part is non-negotiable. You're exposing them to hazards they just don't face inside.
So, first things first.
Internal and external deworming. It has to be current. We're talking fleas, ticks, obviously.
Yeah.
But also heartworm. It's transmitted by mosquitoes. A lot of people overlook that for indoor-only cats.
And vaccines. Are the standard indoor shots enough?
They need to be fully up-to-date and effective. So you verify the core vaccines, the triple or quintuple, and crucially, rabies. The simple fact is, if they're outside, even for a minute, they face risks from wildlife. You have to mitigate that.
That covers the cat. Now, equipment. This seems to be where a lot of people fail before they even start, and it often ends with a lost pet.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about the traditional neck collar. Why is that just banned from this process?
It's a huge liability. A cat's skeletal structure is just so much more flexible than a dog's. When a cat panics, its first instinct is to flatten out, twist backward.
And they just slide right out of it.
In less than a second. It happens so fast.
Right.
And beyond the escape risk, there's the injury risk. If they hit the end of that leash in a panic, all that pressure goes right onto their trachea.
Which is very delicate.
Incredibly. Unlike a dog's neck, a cat's can be seriously damaged by that sudden force. That's why the sources are so emphatic. Collars are forbidden.
So what's the required gear? What guarantees security?
You must use a cat-specific harness. We recommend two main styles. First is the H-TED harness. It looks like a figure 8. It puts the pressure across the chest and shoulders, not the neck.
Okay.
The second, and I think it's often better for nervous cats, is the high-coverage vest style. It covers more of their torso, making it almost impossible to twist out of. And the leash. Simple, lightweight, no big retractable dog leashes.
Okay, stage 1 complete. We have a confident, healthy cat and the right gear. Now stage 2, indoor training. The sources insist on this. You can't just put it on and go.
You have to let them adapt to just, having something on their body. It's a weird feeling for them.
So walk us through this habituation process. How do you start?
You're building a positive association from scratch.
Yeah.
The second the harness goes on, a high-value reward appears instantly. like a meat paste or a treat they only get with the harness.
Linking the gear to something amazing.
Exactly.
What should we expect when we first put it on? I've heard the reactions can be pretty dramatic.
Oh, they are. You should prepare for what we call the petrification effect.
The petrification effect.
Yeah, the cat acts like it's been turned into a stone statue. They might flop over, freeze solid, or walk with this bizarre, low-to-the-ground crawl.
That sounds alarming. So what do you do when the cat just freezes?
You wait. You have to be patient. You don't drag them, and you don't take the harness off right away, because that just teaches them that freezing works.
I see.
You just let them wear it for a short time. We're talking daily sessions, maybe 10 to 15 minutes max. You end the session while they're still calm, not after they're stressed.
And what's the goal? When do you know they're ready to move on?
The milestone is complete normalization. When the cat can run, jump, eat, and play while wearing the harness and basically not even notice it's there, could take 3 days, could take 3 weeks.
So once they're cool with the harness, we add the leash. And it sounds like this isn't about teaching them to walk, but more about getting used to the feeling of tension.
That's exactly right. First, just attach the leash and let them drag it around indoors. Under super close supervision, of course, so it doesn't snag on furniture.
They just need to forget it's there.
Right. Then you start practicing just gently lifting the rope, introducing the slightest, softest resistance. You're teaching them that a little pull is not a threat. If you tug hard now, you're guaranteeing a panic attack outside later.
This is so detailed. It really shows the difference between cats and dogs. Okay, so we have a harness-savvy cat. We're entering stage 3, the first voyage. This needs careful location scouting.
The location is everything. The first trip outside has to be as sterile and low stimulus as you can possibly make it.
And the sources list some forbidden zones, right?
Absolutely. No busy streets, no crowded parks, and especially no areas with lots of off-leash dogs. If their first experience is a barking lab charging at them, the mission is over. Permanently.
So we need a controlled environment. What does an ideal launch site look like?
We're talking very restricted areas. A private rooftop, maybe a quiet stairwell in an apartment building, a fully enclosed courtyard, even a deserted alley late at night. The goal is safety and minimizing new things all at once.
And once we get there, we can't just plop the cat on the ground. We have to introduce the safety base.
Yes, the safety base is mandatory. That's their familiar carrier. You bring the cat inside the carrier to the destination, put the carrier on the ground, open the door, and then you wait.
And this is the most important rule of the day.
It is the golden rule.
Yeah.
You never, ever forcibly drag the cat out. You let them choose to exit. The carrier is their safe space. You're giving them control.
What if all they do is peek their head out, sniff the air, and then retreat back inside for 10 minutes? Is that a failure?
Not at all. That's a complete success. The cat assesses the situation and manages its own stress. If that's all that happens, you gently close the door, go home, and try again tomorrow. Pushing them on day 1 is a disaster.
That's a great foundation. So now, stage 4. True cat walking. We have to get our heads around the big rule, which is that it's not you walking the cat, it's the cat walking you.
This is critical. You have to forget about walking down a straight path for exercise. Your new job is assistant, anchor, and bodyguard.
So what does follow mode actually look like in reality?
Well, they won't walk in a straight line. They'll zigzag. They will stop for 5 solid minutes to sniff one blade of grass. They'll hug walls for security.
Yeah.
They'll want to check out every single bush.
And your job is to just let them.
Your job is to follow and be patient while they process this insane amount of new sensory data.
So when do you intervene? When is it okay to gently use the leash to guide them?
Only when they're about to enter a genuinely hazardous area, like trying to get under a parked car or diving into a drainage ditch or getting into some super dense bushes where they could get tangled up. Otherwise, let them explore.
And what about external threats? What's the immediate danger protocol if you see something coming?
If you see a dog, a fast bite, even a loud kid approaching in the distance, you act immediately. You either scoop the cat up into your arms, hold it tight against your chest, or you put it right back into the carrier and zip it shut.
No hesitation.
None. Because facing a threat on the ground while they're leashed is terrifying for them. It just confirms that the outside world is dangerous. Your job is to be their instant force field.
Okay, let's list the 4 critical never-do prohibitions, the big taboos. Number 1, don't pull or drag.
Right. A cat is built on resistance. If you pull them when they stop, you immediately trigger their escape mechanism. The harder you pull, the harder they resist, and that's when they twist out of the harness.
They stop, you stop.
You stop and wait, or you just pick them up and go home. No compromises on that.
Taboo number 2, don't rely on verbal commands. I guess, come here, doesn't work so well outside.
Sadly, no. Outside, their senses are at full throttle. The sheer volume of new smells and sounds is staggering. Their brain is totally dedicated to processing all that data. They literally can't filter it out to hear you. Number 3, don't allow tree climbing.
Yeah. This turns your safety leash into a high-altitude anchor you can't control. They go up easily, but they panic coming down, especially in a harness. Once they're out of reach, you've lost all control. It's a rescue situation waiting to happen.
Okay, and finally, what's the actual point of all this? What's the real reward?
The goal isn't exercise. The reward is accompanying the cat to explore the world. It's this profound act of companionship. You're sharing their joy, and that strengthens your bond.
But what if, after all this, a cat still hates it? If they're always fluffy, hissing, what's the final call?
Then you have to lovingly accept that you have an indoor cat. To keep forcing it is just bad for their well-being. At that point, your focus has to pivot completely to maximizing indoor enrichment.
Puzzle feeders, climbing trees.
Exactly. Puzzle feeders, vertical spaces, tailored playtime. For that specific cat, those things will bring them so much more happiness than a scary trip outside. That's the whole roadmap. So for the learner, a quick recap of the pillars. First, rigorous personality assessment. Second, the mandatory H-harness or vest. Third, structured indoor desensitization, 10-15 minutes a day. And fourth, outside, the absolute rule. The cat leads the way.
Perfect. And that brings us to our final thought for you to chew on. We just talked about how a cat's senses go to full throttle outside, right?
Yep.
They ignore commands because they're so busy processing information.
It's like a whole different universe of data for them.
Exactly. So given that insane difference in sensory processing, the massive cognitive effort it takes for them to just deal with the smell of the sidewalk, consider this. What does that tell us about the power of tailored indoor enrichment? For that naturally timid cat, creating a world of controllable, interesting stimulation inside might actually be a much deeper, more respectful form of love than any short, overwhelming trip into the wild.
Excellent point. The best path isn't always the one we thought it would be. Thank you for walking us through this long-term project.
My pleasure.
And thank you for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.